as I was saying, let me backtrack. Words are so powerful, right? When we're speaking, we think about the words that we want to say and we put them into sentences, and then we communicate what we're saying, right? But if you take a moment and think about the words that you're going to say before you're saying them, with the purpose of not only communicating the words, but to get the other person to listen. You have to think about this. When you're talking, it's very easy to just think about yourself and just hear yourself talking. You have to pay attention that you're talking to another person, another human being. And when you are listening, like if you flip the coin, right, the script, and you're the one listening, how do you listen? Well, what happens is that when we listen, we make a lot of judgment calls on unknown things. If we don't know what we're hearing, you're going to start thinking, is this too complicated? Do I trust this person? Am I running out of time? And what? Just a lot of things are going through your mind when you're listening to something, right? So for the same reason, you can say the exact same words to 10 people, for example. And it doesn't mean that all 10 people, because they heard the exact same words, they're going to understand everything that you said the same way. Because again, everybody has a different mechanism to listen and to make these decisions on whether what they're listening to, it goes this way or it goes that way. So it's not as straightforward, right? It's very easy to say, let's say you're saying to somebody, hey, can you please pick up after yourself, right? Okay, you said the words, hey, can you pick up after yourself? That's what you want. But as a listener, they might be saying, hey, that was rude, or hey, what do you mean? Or hey, this or that, right? And the words that you're saying, even though it's very clear, the communication won't get through to that person. So having that in mind, words are powerful. When we're making a decision, we're making decisions based on emotions and feelings, not necessarily on the facts, right? So you have to keep that in mind when you're communicating. And if you want to influence, you have to always keep that in mind. So this book, I liked it a lot because it was very refreshing to read and to listen to, because it has a lot of like strategies, techniques, scripts on what exactly to say to influence people. And it can come off as maybe manipulative, depending on how you're looking at this. If you're open-minded and you understand what I just told you about being, words being powerful, and if you want to communicate to somebody something, you're expecting an outcome, right, from what you're saying, but you may not get the outcome using the words that are coming out of your head because you're just saying it. If you pause and you want to think of what your outcome is, but choose your words wisely in a way that helps the other person arrive at the outcome that you're looking for, but choosing better words. And, you can choose words that gets to the other person's subconscious and guides them into a decision-making process. So that's the key thing, getting words that get to their subconscious. That's a much more effective way to communicate. So I'm going to go over a couple of the words that the book has, and the book is very easy to read, and the way that it breaks it down by chapters, and each chapter is basically what to say as an example. So there's a lot. There's like 23 of them. So I'm just going to go through them and see as far as I remember each one. So you can see what I mean by all of these words and how you can use them. And you probably have heard them before. I'm sure you probably have. And, let's just go through this. Hey, Cynthia, again, thanks again. Yeah, stressed out. They're only thinking about what they're stressing about. So let me share with you a couple of things here. Let me bring it up. Where is it? Here it goes. Okay. So this is a couple of them. So I'm going to say, okay, so the first one that it says, I'm not sure if it's for you, but. So this is how to start a phrase or a sentence. I'm not sure this is for you, but the logic behind this is to kind of give an easy way to lower the defenses on somebody that is listening to you. So if you want to, present an idea or something to somebody, uh, it's kind of, I think, normal for the other person to be a little bit reluctant if you're going in the direction that you just want to kind of sound too pitchy, right? And you're saying, "Oh yeah, look at this. This is great." Instead, I'm not sure if this is for you, but and then you start like this, because then that lowers their defenses. It's more like, oh, maybe this is for me. The other person might think, well, maybe it is for me. And it kind of has a subconscious thing that it makes them want to feel like maybe, they're going to be left out if it is for you, if it is for them. So that's the idea behind that sentence. And the author gives a lot of examples of how to use it. The other one is open-minded. Who wants to be closed-minded? Nobody wants to be closed-minded. It's almost like an insult, right? So if you use the word open-minded and you ask somebody, how open-minded are you? And you begin like that, in between something else, right? These are combinations of words. How open-minded are you into, X, Y, and Z, or looking at this, or looking at that, or changing this. So instead of saying you should do this, you can say, how open-minded are you to doing this? And as the listener, it's not 100% about the latter part of the sentence, which is to do something. It's about not being closed-minded, right? It's about being open-minded. So the listener is, this works most of the time, right? It doesn't work all the time, but it works most of the times. So the listener, because they don't want to be closed-minded, they will want to be open-minded, and then the other part of the sentence happens. So that's the idea behind that one. I think it's genius, and it's true. The other one is what do you know? What do you know is a way, again, to lower the defenses. And if you're talking to somebody and you want to ask them, or you want them to, to learn more about something, that an idea or a product or service or an idea, this is business or personal, right? This applies to anything. What do you know? If you ask that question, what do you know about, whatever it is that you're going to talk about? That gives a chance to the listener to say something about what they know. And then that opens up the communication. So that's the idea behind that phrase. The other one is, how do you feel if, right? How would you feel if? And this touches the feelings. Remember I tell you about that we make decisions based on emotions and feelings, right? Which one you like? You love this one, right? I'm not sure, but yep. I like that one too. How would you feel when you ask somebody how do they feel, and that person is bringing up that feeling? It's golden for you, because again, it's not just about the words, right? It's about how they're feeling. So if you open it up and ask them, how would you feel if, I don't have the examples. I can say an example. How would you feel if you ate this chocolate ice cream right now? Right? Let's say you're with your family. How would you feel if you had an ice cream right now? Right? Instead of saying, let's go out for ice cream, right? That's the outcome. But instead of saying that, how would you feel if you had a nice chocolate sundae, banana split, explosion, whatever, right? So you're trying to get them to feel, right? And that helps you achieve your outcome. So that's another one. The other one, just imagine. Another one that uses your sensors, right? The sensory, right? Imagine if you had this, right? And then that opens up the conversation so that other person is more open to what you want to talk about. Imagine. How would you feel if I told you I can give you tools that would change your life? Yep. How would you feel? How would you feel? And that triggers those feelings, those thoughts and feelings. That's all. That's right, Cynthia. When would be a good time? The logic behind this one is According to the book, right? I'm just like, going over the book. When like, let's say you want to talk to somebody, instead of saying, giving them a time or an option. I've seen both sides of this. But if you say when would be a good time to meet, for example, or to have a phone call, that assumes that there is a good time, and you're asking when is the good time. So it's not like there is no good time. So when you're asking what would be a good time, the other person, like, the response to that would be, let me figure out what is a good time. It's not like saying, do you have time for this, or do you have, because the answer would be no. So that's the logic behind that one. When would be a good time? Um, and the other one I have here, I'm guessing you haven't gotten around to. This is a line that you use when somebody's just not responding or not getting back to you, with whatever it is. And it's a kind of a passive aggressive way of saying, what's up? I'm guessing you haven't gotten around to X, Y, and Z. And then, you continue with your whatever you're going to say. So that gives them a way to save face and say, yeah, I haven't gotten around to, or, they're open, they give you an honest answer after that. Simple swaps. I don't remember what this one is, so I'm going to skip that one. Simple swaps. You have three options. This one, basically, when you want somebody to do something, and I'm gonna just put it down to my kids. If I want my kids to eat something for breakfast, let's say I don't know, a cereal, and I want them to have cereal. Okay, so I can tell them, you have three options. You can not eat anything and go to school hungry. You can wait an hour until I cook a big meal, or you can have this Cheerios. That's very delicious Cheerios. I can give it to you right away. Which one sounds like they're gonna choose, right? The last one, the third one, right? They're not gonna go hungry, right? The first one. They're not gonna wait an hour, right? If they're hungry, they're gonna get the Cheerios with a quick one. So you can put three options, and the last one is the one that you want them to choose. But the first and the second one, the first one is kind of like the status quo. Like, you think about it, it's like you basically don't, in a lab, you can do nothing. Like, let's say you're trying to sell something, or like option number one, you don't do anything and you stay with your pain, right? If you have a pain here, you don't do. Option number two, you go get back surgery, right? And you try to fix it, but then you might end up worse off. Or option number three, let me give you a chiropractic adjustment. I'm just making this up. If there's a chiropractor, let me give you an adjustment that can be a quick fix, right? Option number three sounds like it's going to be the one. So that's the example of that. The other one here, I have two types. When you tell somebody this, there's two types of people. Right away, you're telling the person there's two types of people. So the other person is going to be like, so which type am I? Right? You're going to say there's two types of people. There's the type of people that do X, and there's a type of people that do Y. And obviously, whatever it is that you want the person to do, you're going to put them in one of those categories, right? And that's a way for the person to kind of put themselves in one type or the other based on what you're saying. It's just an easy way to put it. Next one we have is, I bet you're a bit like me. Okay, that one helps you put the other person to be more relatable to you. So like, if you're trying to for them to do something, or to make a decision on something, or take action on something, if you say, I bet you're a bit like me, where I like this or like that. So you kind of find something that they can relate to, and you put it into that phrase, and that lowers the guards and makes them more open. If then is when you're saying, if you do this, then this happens, right? If you do that, then this happens, right? If you take this action, this is going to happen. So again, if you're thinking of what you want them to do, you come up with an if then sentence, and it helps them make a decision based on your if and then the results, right? The results, the then will be like the benefit of what you want them to do, why you want them to do it, what they're going to get out of it. And the if is what action is that they're going to take. So if then. The other one is don't worry. Don't worry. It's something that just lowers the guard again, gives somebody a peace of mind. Don't worry, XYZ, whatever it is that you're trying to communicate. Next one, we have most people. The logic behind most people here is that you're trying to get the other person to feel at ease, right? To feel comfortable. They want to do what most people do because it's safe, right? If you're saying, okay, most people would want to do this because of XYZ, so that helps them say, okay, so that's, most people do it, so it should be okay, right? Whereas, if you're saying, oh, it's like 1 in a million, it's a little bit more risky, right? So most people is something that, depending on how the conversation, right, you pick whatever you think it's best. The good news. The good news is a words that you're saying just to turn something into a positive, right? If something is not exactly going the way that the other person expects, the good news is that, and you say something positive, right? And it tries to open it up. If something is getting heated or something, that kind of helps calm the waters or put it in a positive light. What happens next is a good thing to guide people into what to do next, because a lot of times people want to do something, or they're open to take action, but they don't exactly know what's happening, what the process is, what's the next step. So when you basically say what happens next is that you're going to sign here, I'm going to give you the information, or we're going to go in the car, we're going to drive a couple of miles, whatever it is, but you say what happens next. The next one here, what makes you say that? This is a way to kind of, it's like a defense mechanism here. If somebody is kind of negating what you're saying, you just say, what makes you say that? And it gives them a chance to explain themselves, right? Because sometimes, again, people are just saying the words and they're not really thinking about it, and it's more like an emotional response. But if you're asking them what makes you say that, then they're gonna justify, explain why are they saying that, and then it might come up like, that's really doesn't make any sense. That's the idea behind that one. Before you make up your mind, when things are not going your way, and before they say no, this is what you say. This is like the kind of like the end one, or almost the end. Before you make up your mind, and you try to start with that, and try to give them a way out, or a ways for them to consider whatever it is that you're talking about. So before they say no, that's how that one goes. If I can, will you? Okay, this one, if I remember correctly, if you're getting into objections, and I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, again, it could be family. I'm just thinking of my kids. They don't want to do something, and then I'm also thinking about business. Somebody doesn't want to do something, right? If I can do, if there's a series of objections or a series of obstacles that the person is saying, and you say, if I can, and you say you can basically cross out all of these objections. If I can do this, do that, do that, do that, will you take the next step, right? Whatever it is that you want that next step to be. And that, there's nothing else left, right? Because you're basically getting to everything. If I do this, can this, right? That's, will you that. Enough. Enough. I don't remember what is enough. Just one more thing. It's kind of similar to that. Before you make up your mind, just one more thing is like when, if it's a no, just before you end the conversation, it's like the last bit, just like, this is like the Hail Mary. Just one more thing, that's kind of how you can introduce whatever you want to say. A favor. It's human nature that we want to help people. And if you come with that approach, hey, can you do me a favor and do this, X, whatever it is that you want to do, X, Y, Z, that lowers the guard. Yeah, I'll do you a favor versus, the other approach, right? So that's one. I actually have used this a favor for asking for certain things, and it works. I mean, it's a favor, right? At the outcome, you're going to get the same outcome, whatever it is that you're trying to get, right? Okay, the last one I think is 23. Just out of curiosity. Again, when things are not going really well, you just ask. Hey, just out of curiosity. Somebody tells you no, okay, just out of curiosity. What you can mix it up. What makes you say that, or why did you choose this over the other one? And that just opens an honest response. So those are the 23 that that the book goes into. And again, quick book to read. I enjoyed it. I like to go over this again because the way he explains it, and I want to really keep some of these in my vocabulary and know when to use them, because I think they're pretty good, and it just makes a lot of sense. Yep, yeah, you should go get them. Check them out. The link is in the page, on the book challenge page. Yeah, it's a very quick book. It's a good book to have. Next week, we're gonna go over Never Split the Difference. This is an awesome book I already read, but I will read it again. Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference. Chris Voss was a FBI hostage negotiator. Very good book. It's about negotiating. He was a hostage negotiator, and he's really good in that book. So we're gonna go over that next week. So that's all for now. Thanks for being here. Until next week, check out the book. The links are in the book on the website and the book challenge. All right, take care. Bye bye.